Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are all doing well. So for those of you that are familiar with our channel, you know who we are. For those of you who do not, we are StarBoyzz 365.
Yes.
I go by Branson and this is
Alexander Christian.
And we are StarBoyzz 365, as I said. Normally, we have our regular videos that we have that are informational based and research based or whatever. But we wanted to try something new and actually get on camera and try to present ourselves to you guys. So here we are. So unless you have been like sleeping under a rock or having cotton balls in your ears or just have been just sleeping. I know a lot of us have been doing a lot of sleeping right now because of C-19. But if you've been doing any of those things, then you clearly know about nothing that's going on in the world. But for those of you who have not, obviously what we're talking about today is nothing new. So today we're going to be talking about Montero Lamar Hill.
Yes.
Better known as Lil Nas X.
Mr. X.
Mr. X. Not Nas. You don't want to, discredit the great Nas.
Oh, yeah.
But we're talking about Lil Nas X. So let's get into it. Lil Nas X, Montero Lamar Hill, the pole dancer. On to the video. So, as I said, today we're going to be talking about Montero Lamar Hill. So, for those of you who don't know, Lil Nas X is born on April 9th, 1999. But the year, it really doesn't matter that much. But we're going to be more so focusing on the day, April 9th. But before we do that, I want to just kind of point something out. I want to point out his initials, Montero Lamar Hill, MLH. If you take those numbers and the position that they are in the alphabet and you do the whole kind of numerology equation and things like that, the initials come out to equal the number 5. So the number 5 in numerology is equivalent to people who exhibit personal freedom and who have a sense of adventure and expression. So clearly, for those of you that have seen all of Lil Nas X's fashion choices and his videos, you know that he's definitely coming from a place of personal freedom and self-expression.
I agree.
So, as I said, he was born on April 9th, so that makes him an Aries. And as you know, in a previous video that we did where we spoke about Aries, Aries are like the baby of the bunch. They are between the age of 0 and 7, so they have that very youthful energy. Prime example, Mariah Carey is an Aries, so you could see Mariah is like 100 years old, but she's still walking around like she a little princess and So you already know how Aries energy are, but that's a girl. So just imagine how little boys are. Little boys are rambunctious. They get into any and everything and are very expressive and disastrous.
Correct.
So those born on April 9th have a tendency to be one of a kind and unique. They embody unusual trends in society and are rather excessive in the way that they present themselves. So, for instance, if you saw Lil Nas when he wore his pink suit with the little pink harness underneath to the Grammys that one year with the cowboy hat, it was a good look. That was him being like self-expressed, like very, very expressive. And with that, they also make it very clear that they're not ones to be restricted. So just imagine the conversation, how it went down, where a stylist was like, why don't you wear this black suit instead, or this navy blue suit? And he's like, no, I want to wear pink. I'm going to wear pink. And that's how, and the rest is history.
Amen.
April 9th people are also known to be outspoken, very direct, and on the worst side can be harsh as well. These people, they're not afraid to show their thought processes, and they're good at translating their ideas, which are usually ideas that are coming from things that are going on in society at that given moment. So whatever's going on in the world, they have a tendency to pull from that.
Correct.
And present an idea that is either for or against those particular ideas that are happening in society.
Correct.
Outside of that, their thought process can be rather strange and humorous, but they use these ideas and their quirks and their humorous side as a way of communicating.
Gotcha. So true. That is typical of Aries. Typical Aries personality. I totally agree with that.
I got a whole notebook here, so I didn't want to forget anything. So excuse the turning of pages. So April 9th people, when they do communicate, they have a tendency to be quite revelatory on a deep level. But their influence is not always the best type of influence. So with that being said, many people should be very careful, not particularly with Lil Nas X, but anyone born on this day, they should be very careful to not adopt their strong ideas and try to steer clear of taking them literally. It's just them expressing themselves.
Correct.
It's not them really trying to be an example. Even though they can be quite influential in setting an example for freedom, for freedom of action, they can be quite successful at radically changing the thoughts of other people. So, like I said, it's not their intention to be an example, but just by happenstance, they happen to just be that, and they can influence other people.
As he has been doing now, as you can see. All out that he has been doing in this video, and with his shoe, which we will talk about later. Yeah, he's getting a lot of attention and stirring up a lot of talk. So yeah, definitely, I agree with that. Typical Aries.
Typical Aries, yes, the baby. And you got to also remember that when they're doing these things, they're not necessarily coming from like a good place, because any and everything that they do is very self-serving, and it kind of makes them kind of selfish.
Sure.
Because if you think about little kids haven't learned the concept of like, being selfish and unselfish. It's just me, mine.
Correct.
That's my mommy, that's my daddy, that's my toy, that's this. So it's very indicative like of an Aries energy, not just specifically those people that are born on April 9th. Most Aries are very kind of spoiled, for lack of a better word.
Okay. Definitely.
So yeah. So for Lil Nas X, I would just say that he probably should just, because of the position that he has afforded himself to be in right now, he should probably just take some time to evaluate his ideas and the way that he expresses himself, and maybe try to find like a happy balance. That way he can kind of make his ideas more palatable for the masses in a less aggressive way. But as of late, he's been like Twitter happy and social media happy, so he's kind of really showing that he doesn't really care about balancing out right now. But he's still young, so he's only just 21, so he's still young, and he still has a lot to learn in life, and he'll look back on things that he's done and be like, oh, I probably should have did this, or I probably should have did that. So it's all a process. I'm not telling a 21-year-old to just get up and go and change the idea of being 21. We've all been there, and you know how it goes.
Yeah, I agree. You can't tell anybody, like I said, boy, girl, like just kids growing up. You've been a kid, I've been a kid, Branson's been a kid. I mean, so it's just we know. And astrology hits everything on a nail. His personality, sums up with his 21-year-old mentality that he is right now. He's only 21, so he's just enjoying life and enthralled in it and trying to break rules and boundaries. Like, you're rebellious when you're a kid. You know, I was rebellious. Branson was rebellious. You guys definitely can't sit there and say you were not rebellious. So you understand his personality. It's just the way he's doing it. But we'll talk about that, definitely.
Yes, we sure will. But just kind of to close up on like his personality, those people that are born on this day, obviously they're ruled by the master number of 9, and they're ruled by the planet Mars. And Mars is actually the planet of Aries. So with this combination, it allows for a manifestation of strong aggression and impulsiveness and sometimes anger. But there can be success here for people that are born on April 9th. And it'll usually result if they can kind of centralize their impulses and, you know, make them a little more a little more palatable, and, you know, in a less indulgent fashion. So just kind of, you know, tame the beast a little bit.
Yeah, pull it back just a smidge,
just a little bit.
You're going too wild, Roy.
Yeah.
You're going too wild.
Health-wise, those people that are born on this day should be careful with their overt energy. Like I said, Aries, they're the baby. Little kids have a lot of energy. So Aries possess this type of energy, and they have to be careful to kind of like minimize that type of energy.
Correct.
Because it can destroy them.
Yeah.
And in the process of destroying them, it will also attract unwanted attention. It'll attract antagonists, and it'll also welcome in various forms of violence, verbal violence or Twitter violence, or physical violence.
Yeah.
And it'll usually, 9 times out of 10, it's going to come from people who just don't like the fact of them being so outspoken, or just they don't like the way that they express themselves, or they don't like their views. And this isn't something that just happens to Aries. It happens to a lot of people. A lot of people are out there and they have their own views and they have their own opinions about things.
Correct.
And they end up getting hurt in the process. I mean, here we are currently in 2021, and you have Asian people being accosted and beaten and in some situations killed, just because they're Asian, and everyone wants to ride on the words of former President Trump, believing that this C-19 thing came from them. So
ignorance is
yes.
bliss, definitely.
So just to kind of maintain, the sanctity of, you little Aries, just try to tame the beast and just be cautious of your audiences.
Correct.
Because you never know who you're talking to. You never know who's breathing down your neck.
Yep.
You just never know.
Agreed.
So there's a time and a place for everything. And, if you don't know how to streamline that energy, maybe go work out, go for a run, go for a jog, get that energy out, go to a park and play.
Come on.
But, once you get to the point of like expressing your opinions and ideas, I mean, we got a lot of opinionated and sensitive people out there in the world.
Oh, yes, we do.
And a lot of them are not afraid to defend the way that they believe. And they will defend their beliefs in an array of different ways, as I just said.
Correct.
So, in short, Lil Nas, just balance your urges a little bit. Just a little bit.
Please. Because it's just uncalled for. It's really uncalled for, because now, remember, you are a black man. You are a face. You are an entity. You are a thing, and you know this. When you are put on this pedestal, this is what happens. Unfortunately, everything you do will be watched. So, come on. Not to say be an example. I understand what your little Twitter or your little whatever Instagram message was, that you're not here to teach your kids, but come on, boy. When you were growing up, there were other people there. Madonna, yes, she was doing it, but she wasn't doing it the way you was doing it. So I know you're trying to push the boundary and push the level, but be easy. Be easy with who you are. Remember, you are still a black man and a black gay man in America. Come on.
All of that.
Yeah, you can go overseas and run still, but you are still a black man no matter what. We are you just know how they talk about us. You know what we're going through. So it's just like, I get it. Have fun while you're young, but
yeah, have fun while you're young, but you still have to be, you still have to be cautious. I mean, you're in a position that a lot of 21-year-olds are not ever going to be in.
Correct.
I mean, you have millions and millions and millions of people that are listening to you and are watching you.
Correct. So
you're in a very kind of, unique situation as a 21-year-old and as a black 21-year-old. So, like Alexander said, you need to be cautious.
Yeah. We are not privileged. Remember, we are not privileged. You may be privileged because of money you have. But remember, Nike coming for you. And you remember that little post you put with Squidward in the box? Boy, I hope that doesn't hit you. Let's not. All right.
But talking about privilege, a lot of you, like it or hate it, got the privilege of seeing his latest video, Call Me By Your Name. I think that's the way it's said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Call Me By Your Name. Yes.
Montero.
And with that video, a lot of people were coming for him, and a lot of people were just coming out with frustration. And this video is a no. This video is so bad. And the only reason that everyone was saying that is like, I get it. I get where it's coming from. But the only reason a lot of people were saying that is because the devil was in there, and heaven and hell and all of this. So, people are linking that to the church and this, that, and the third. And all of a sudden, y'all want to be out there doing this and doing that. But the minute that someone does something that is related to the devil or to God or to the church, then y'all want to get on your soapbox and say something. Did you go to church on Sunday? So let's not do it. Because a lot of y'all don't. And a lot of y'all wait till April. We're about to be in April. A lot of y'all wait till April so y'all can go to church for Easter. And y'all go get y'all Easter outfit and go to church one time a year. So let's not do it.
Stop yourself.
But anyway, we want to just kind of go in and like break down like our perception of the video. So for me, obviously, on the surface, the video is kind of a sort of retelling of the Adam and Eve story and the involvement of the devil. So in the beginning, of course, in the Bible, Genesis, it talks about Adam, and then it talks about how he received Eve, and then how Eve went and ate the apple. Well, in this particular video, it's almost like Lil Nas was kind of taking on the position of being Adam and Eve. Yeah, just being like both Adam and Eve. And as you can see, like he had like the glittered skin suit. You need to give a lot of thanks to Britney Spears for allowing you to wear that suit. But then so he was like the Adam and Eve, and then of course he's sleeping under the tree, and with the apple, and the apple hits him on the head or something like that, and this, that, and third, and then you see the snake come out, and of course Adam is not there. It's just kind of like a fusion. And the devil or the serpent in the video, it goes to kiss, Lil Nas's character, and then Lil Nas's character is almost like his eyes are opened up wide, so it's like he's been awakened. So it's kind of like the tree of knowledge. So he's kind of going from not knowing to knowing. And with that, there's also a lot of like inclusion of color. So like I said in the beginning, he has like the skin colored suit, which is kind of like, a neutral tone. It's raw, like it's not negative, it's not positive. It just is. It's not trying to present itself as anything. And then as the video progresses, as he's being chased out of the Garden of Eden in the video, we then segue into this point where he is like in this sort of judgment scene where he's in the chains and he's wearing the pink with the pink wig, and he's being judged and held up tight by a bunch of people that are wearing blue.
Correct.
So if we want to look at that color-wise, the color blue signifies stability and wisdom and correctiveness.
Correct.
So in layman's term, the right way to live. Yeah. And in that particular scene, also you have to look at the fact that he's wearing pink, which is a derivative of red, but not quite red yet. And red, or the pink in that particular scene, it signifies youth. And as you know, youth is kind of coming from the phase of being a child and then growing up into youthhood, where it's like you have a refreshed idea of how you think things should be, or how you see the world,
Correct.
before you actually graduate into a deeper red. Mm-hmm. So as you can see in the scene, you know, he gets judged. It doesn't go in his favor. They cast him down the little stripper pole, the stripper pole to go to hell. And then as you can see, as he's transitioning down, like down you can see, he goes from the pink, and then he goes to the red. He has the red hair, and then eventually he ends up in hell, I guess you could say, which is chock full of the color red. And the color red is signified by courage and anger and passion. So it's like, you know, the blue, it's like, this is the way you do things. And then pink is like, okay, I understand the blue, but it's like I also have my own opinions and this, that, and the third. And then the red is like, bam.
Wow.
I have my own opinion, and this is what it is. Correct. So that's kind of what the colors, in my opinion, were signifying in the video. I mean, what did you think?
I totally agree, because not to say like, oh, it was self-explanatory. Basically, it was self-explanatory with twists of other things intertwined within it, but I think for the most part, you kind of summed it up.
Okay.
You know, like, there's not much to say, like the Adam and Eve theory, like I said, I don't want to say like, oh, it's a gay thing, but maybe it is the dualness, and like I said, and the oneness of one. And then, like I said, the lusting after what the snake was looking for him, and continuing down this whole seductive nature of sexual, exploitation or whatever he's trying to teach him. Because, you know, allegedly the fallen angels are the ones that taught, you know, sex, the wearing of jewels, the charms, and all this other stuff, astrology, whatever, it's all that stuff. So, for the most part, I think you were right. The transition of colors from not knowing to knowing, from the pink to the red. So it's just like all of this makes sense. And now looking what he ended up becoming at towards the end, which we'll discuss now. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So like he said, you know, after that point or whatever, of course we go and we see the coveted scene that will go down in television history, in video history. Which is the scene where he's walking towards the Satan.
You broke the internet, boy. You broke the internet.
Pretty much, you know, gives him a lap dance, you know, and gives him, you know, a lap dance to the best of his ability. I have seen better.
Because, boy, that's what I was going to say, Toto Love. I'm Caribbean and love. You can't be doing that. We are black, and you are a black gay man. You're supposed to work it on him. If you was going to do it, look at Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B's WAP.
But, I mean,
come on.
If he would have went that far, I mean, I think
it would have been epic. It would have
been worse.
It would have been epic. But at least you went in, though. But you was over there. I don't know if you had padding. I know you put some jock strap or whatever in the front to give you extra package. But from behind, boy, you wasn't doing nothing. I'm sorry. You wasn't doing it for me. I love the video. The visuals were amazing. But that scene, as a Caribbean man, nah. Nah. Take it back.
So obviously you can see the disdain. But anyway, back to the video. So in the video, of course, like you said, he goes down to the devil in the coveted scene where he's seducing the devil. And giving him a lap dance, and, you know, kind of turning the devil on, and then eventually killing him. And that point right there caused a lot of kind of opposing views as far as like that, the whole meaning behind that. Because you got some people that are like, oh, why does everyone hate the video so much, and this, that, and the third? I mean, he literally killed the devil. And then you have other people who took it further and was just like, yeah, you know, but did you watch the rest of the video? Like, he killed the devil, but then he took the devil's horns and put them on his head, kind of signifying that he became the new devil.
Kratos, God of War. Have we all played this video game? We need to dig into video games. PS3, PS4. Get on your Xbox or get the video game. That was a typical God of War scenario. He became the new God of War. So either which way, oh, he killed the devil, he still became the God of War, though. And you need to look at what Kratos and what happened to him and this whole thing. It's all symbolic. Come on, he was playing with video game reference. He's 21 years old. So I get what he's going to, you know, what he's saying. But still, everything has meaning. Everything has meaning. Mean what you're saying, say what you mean.